Hand a musician that thing, that's what you get. Morning, my name is Paul. We have a couple of quick announcements to start off this morning. First off, something we haven't mentioned in a long time, on the other side of that wall, there is a board that says announcements. It is for the community interest announcements. If you have announcements that don't pertain to the church, but you think something might be interesting for people to look at, put it on that board. It's on the other side of the clock there. You have to walk around there to see it. Check it out from time to time. There's interesting things to do there around the city, and if you have something up there that's dated, please take it down. Second off, we are going to be doing Soapbox Sunday again on August 30th, if memory serves me well. It's the last Sunday of the month of August anyway. We did it seems like a couple of months ago, but Laura said it was last summer. That's what time does to you. If you don't know what Soapbox Sunday is, you may get up here on this soapbox and talk for 3 minutes about anything you want to talk about, as long as it is within the obvious parameters, no racism, homophobia, any of that noise, obviously. But if you want to talk about anything, something going on at work, you don't like the way the city's doing things, you're sick of the government, the floors aren't clean enough, your shoes itch, whatever it might happen to be, you want to get up here and talk about it, you got 3 minutes to do it. Sign up with me or with Roland in the church or with anybody who's in Sunday services, Laura, anybody you see that you want to sign up. We may put a sign-up sheet over there, I guess, be the best idea. If you would like to talk, you got 6 weeks to think about it. So if there's something you'd like to speak about on August 30th, you got 3 minutes to do it. And I think that's it for the announcements as far as I know. I haven't been given any more. Anybody know any others? Okay, take it away, whoever's in charge.
That would be me. Good morning. I am Reverend Dr. Michelle Scott Huffman. I'm the minister here at First UU, and today I get to be your service leader, so I'm excited about that. As we all come into this space this morning and get ready to do this thing that is a communal act of being together and dreaming a world that we want to live in and want to leave the people who come behind us, I would invite you to settle in and take a deep breath. I'd like to welcome everyone here this morning. Whether you're with us on site or on Zoom, you may or may not know that behind that screen in the ether, whatever we call that, there are often somewhere between 10 and 20 people who are with us for our Sunday services. So welcome, whether you're here in the sanctuary or on Zoom. And whether you've been here one time or many, many times, we're so glad that you're here with us today. And we hope that you'll stay after the service for coffee or tea and conversation. And today, in particular, we have one of our sessions for our Pathways to Membership. So there will be a conversation downstairs after the service with snacks, where you can learn a little bit about what Unitarian Universalism is, should you be interested in that. Our chalice lighter in the sanctuary this morning is Chuck Buchanan. And our chalice lighting words are "Persist in Faith" by Pat Uribe Lichty. We face a challenge to democracy, a challenge that calls us to hope in moments of despair, a challenge that asks us to persist in the faith that we can and must make a difference. May our flaming chalice recommit us to truth in our words and in our actions, that we may live as we believe people should live.
Good morning. My name's Pharaoh. I use she, her pronouns. And I've got glasses on and my hair in a ponytail. And I'm going to do Time for All Ages today. Today we have a story called The Sad Little Fact by Jonah Winter with illustrations by Pete Oswald. All right. There once was a fact, a little fact, a sad little fact. Sorry. There once was a fact, a little fact, a sad little fact. No one took the fact seriously. They laughed at it and called it names. You're just a lie. I don't believe you. Then they'd walk right past it or step over it without so much as a blink. The sad little fact just had one thing to say back. A fact is a fact, which shouldn't have been such a big deal. But it was. One day, the authorities demanded that the sad little fact admit that it was not a fact. Imagine that. But the sad little fact could not tell a lie, so it refused. Now the authorities grew angry, and they hurled the sad little fact into a big box, closed the lid, and buried it deep underground. And that was that. Inside, the sad little fact saw that it was surrounded by other facts. They all introduced themselves. 2 + 2 = 4. A refrigerator is not a moose. Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Human beings are members of the ape family. Dinosaurs became extinct 66 million years ago. And so on and so forth. It was a powerful collection of facts. But in time, the facts grew restless. They tired of being in a box and wanted to get out. I think a hole needs to be made, suggested the sad little fact. But how? The facts had no tools. They were just facts. Meanwhile, a bunch of lies created by the authorities were taking over the world outside the box. They too called themselves facts, but they weren't. The world grew dark. A hardy band of fact-finders were troubled by the situation. "Where are the real facts?" they cried. "Where have you buried them?" But the only reply they got was, "These are the facts." And so the fact-finders started digging, equipped with only shovels, flashlights, and a need to know the truth. They dug a tunnel deep, deep underground. At last, they heard voices, the sound of facts hoping to be discovered, and found the box. They hoisted it out of the darkness and let out the facts. In the clear blue light of day, The facts were glorious in all of their factual splendor. The earth revolves around the sun, and people are causing the earth to get warmer. A fact is a fact, cried the sad little fact, who was not so sad anymore. A fact is a fact, they all cried out in unison. Some people chose to ignore the facts, turning their backs and walking away in a huff. But for those with minds to think and a need to know the truth, the facts could not be denied. And that's a fact. It's time for each of you to light your little chalices if you haven't already done so. Yeah? Okay. Are we going to sing On Your Way? Let's do it.
The prelude this morning is Imagine by John Lennon, performed by Colleen. Thank you, Colleen. Today's words of invitation are by E.N. Hill. The promise of democracy is one of collective power and shared responsibility. Many understand that this covenantal promise is not without its challenges. Democracy asks us to engage in issues, to participate in bringing about change, and to care deeply about one another. It is cultivated in the small, consistent actions, in the conversations we have, the ways we listen to and learn from one another, as well as the votes that we cast. It demands that we see beyond ourselves, recognizing the dignity of every person and honoring the rich diversity of our lives. In the words of Kamala Harris, democracy, our democracy, is not guaranteed. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it, to guard it, and to never take it for granted. We, the people, have the power. You have the power. And when we vote, we expand the power, the possibility, and the promise of democracy. It is clear that at the heart of this democracy is the promise of the people, our hopes and our dreams. We are the democracy and the stewards of this promise, the practitioners of this sacred work. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe democracy is more than a political system. It is a shared journey, a collective responsibility, and a profound act of faith in one another. May we walk this path with grace, with purpose, and with phenomenal commitment to the common good. Amen. Our hymn of the month for July is "This Is My Song." It's number 159 in the gray hymnal, and the words will also be on the screens. You're welcome to stand or remain seated, however you are comfortable, as we sing together.
I love that song. Okay, it's me, Pharaoh, again. She, her. We're going to do joys and concerns. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you can send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone at 883-3922. And if you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of our joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday, and we honor each joy or concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love we as a community offer for each of these joys and concerns. This morning, Chuck will be lighting the candles. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold and love all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. We have a joy from Mark McGinn, who says, accepted into palliative care at Cox will be helpful especially for my wife. We light a candle of joy for Mark. We have another joy from Amber and Wyatt. Thank you to our UU family for helping us celebrate our wedding day. It was truly a beautiful day. We light a candle for Amber and Wyatt. From Sherry B., we have another joy, a joy for circle dinners. Thanks to Red Gillenwater for keeping things organized. We light a candle of joy for circle dinners. Another joy from Sherry, who says it's a joy to be joined by fellow members of the League of Women Voters today. Welcome. We light a candle of joy for democracy. And from Millie, we have another joy. She says, I am so happy to be the proud owner of a painting by our own Kathleen Ward. It is entitled Witchy Woman, and I love it. Thank you, Kathleen. Okay. Another joy from Becca Reynolds. She says, Brian Vega, a counselor, founder of Counseling Solution of the Ozarks, a friend of UU and the queer community, continues to recover from a serious illness at home under the watchful eye of his husband. Continued thoughts, prayers, and good energy are appreciated. We light a candle for Brian. All right, let's see what's on Zoom. And I'm not seeing anything, Zoom friends. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for those who are impacted. And in closing, for all those joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts, we light a candle. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Let us now join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. sing all the stories of compassion, blowing always, rise in the sea, moving all land, giving life a justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Janice LePage, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm here to share this week in UU history. On July 17th, 1771, the Feathers Tavern Association was formed in London to abolish acquired assent to the Church of England liturgy. It gave support to the Unitarian struggle for legal equality. At the time, Unitarianism was a criminal offense in England. Then, on July 14, 1813, the English Parliament passed the Trinity Act. The former title was An Act to Relieve Persons Who Impugn the Doctrine of the Holy Trinity from certain penalties, which repealed the Blasphemy Act. The Blasphemy Act of 1689 had made the denial of the Trinity a treasonable act, punishable by death, and denied Unitarians all civil rights. The English courts held that passage of the Trinity Act did not remove Unitarian belief as a criminal offense under the common law, but only removed the penalties. Unitarianism remained a criminal offense until the Dissenters' Chapels Act that was passed on July 15, 1844. In our world, many voices are silenced. Many truths remain unspoken because the speaker fears rejection, judgment, or worse. Our financial offerings today help sustain this congregation as a place where all voices can be heard, where truth can be spoken without fear, where vulnerability is met with compassion. We give in gratitude for this beloved community and with hope for a world where more voices can speak their truth. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory today is For What It's Worth by Stephen Stills and performed by Paul.
Work. Hang on a second. Work. There it is. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. The think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Well, what a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and a carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and a carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. You better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. You better stop. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Thanks, Paul. And I notice he has his I voted sticker on his guitar, so thank you for doing that too. Good morning, I'm Sherry Buchanan, she, her pronouns. And here at UU, I am the Electoral Justice Lead for our Social Action Committee, which, by the way, meets downstairs right after the service, and everybody is welcome to come check us out if you're not a regular participant. I'm also here this morning in my role as a League of Women Voters member. And I wanted to thank Chuck and Janice, who are also both League of Women Voters, for helping this morning. Today, we are here to honor the legacy of Representative John Lewis. And if you don't know much about him, I encourage you to do some reading. John was a social justice warrior, a fierce protector of democracy and voting rights. And I often say, I think this man was willing to die for what he believed in. Annual John Lewis Days of Action occur each July, the anniversary of his death. And this year's theme is Reach, Teach, and Preach. And we hope to do some of that with you today and give you some tools so you can go forward and do some of it, because we have some very important elections coming up in August and November. John Lewis was born in 1940 to sharecroppers in Troy, Alabama. His great-grandfather had been born enslaved and lived until John was 7. By age 6, John had only seen 2 white people. He was a voracious reader, but he was denied a library card because cards were for whites only. So he grew up very aware that integration was happening in other parts of the country, but Alabama, segregation and racism were his regular experience. He first met Martin Luther King, or heard him on the radio, in 1955 and became an avid follower. He got to meet Dr. King finally when he was 16. He finished a bachelor's degree at Fisk University in Nashville,
where he became an activist in the civil rights movement. He also finished a divinity degree and became an ordained Baptist minister. And he liked to tell the story of starting to preach when he was about 5 by preaching to the chickens on their farm. He was arrested multiple times during his efforts to desegregate Nashville's downtown businesses. It was during this time that he initiated his commitment to getting into good trouble, necessary trouble. And sometimes when you see me in the street, I'll have him with me reminding me that this is a way that I have of getting involved in some necessary trouble. In 1961, he was one of 12 original Freedom Riders, and he was the first of them to be assaulted. Because of his involvement with the Freedom Riders, he was imprisoned for 40 days in a harsh Alabama prison. Lewis became chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Council, also known as SNCC. Some of you remember SNCC from the 60s. And by this time, he had been arrested 24 times. He was the youngest of the organizers for the March on Washington in 1963. He spoke after Dr. King's I Have a Dream and challenged whether the federal government was doing its part in enforcing the 1963 Civil Rights Bill. And he had been told in advance by his elders to tone it down, but his speech still raised hackles. He became nationally known on Bloody Sunday, March 7th, 1965, when he and Hosea Williams led 600 marchers across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. This was a voter registration march from Selma to Montgomery. They were met by Alabama state troopers who ordered them to disperse. The group stopped to pray, at which time the mounted troopers sprayed tear gas, charged the crowd, and beat them with nightsticks. Lewis's skull was fractured, and he bore scars on his head for the rest of his life. You can see some of the results of Bloody Sunday there. Lewis and other civil rights activists returned to the bridge numerous times to commemorate the events of that day. And if you haven't seen the movie Selma, I highly recommend it. He continued his civil rights activism with a passion for voting rights before he was finally elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1987, where he served until his death in July of 2020. He continued his protest against a variety of social injustices and was arrested 5 more times during his tenure as a representative. In all, he was arrested 45 times because of his activism and was incarcerated a number of times, sometimes for just a few hours, but also enduring multiple week stays. In 2011, President Obama awarded Lewis with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. Obama praised Lewis as an American whose life was a lesson in courage. His death brought 6 days of national memorial events. He was the first Black lawmaker to lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. His final service was at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, the church once led by Dr. King. Before the service, his casket was pulled by a horse-drawn caisson across the bridge in Selma, where he had endured Bloody Sunday. Though he was a Baptist and not a Unitarian Universalist, John Lewis lived a life that manifested UU principles and values. He believed that promoting civil rights, voting rights, and social justice for all was doing the work of the Almighty. In my mind, there's no conflict between Lewis's Baptist beliefs about social justice as doing the work of his God and what we do as UUs to promote social justice because of our faith. The striking commonality is that protecting our democracy is our work, our responsibility, and our accountability. A fellow UU, Erica Hewitt, wrote, "How grateful I am for a faith rooted in our connective power that draws urgent human connections between what we do in church and what we do in the voting booth and all the other ways we claim our life-giving capacities." As UUs, we covenant to affirm and promote principles that include the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. As Reverend Michelle reminded us last week, this is not passive, but a commitment to take an active part in how our government functions and in protecting the democratic process. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan but very political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government, works to increase understanding of public policy, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. John Lewis was not a League member, but he and the League were closely aligned in the mission of protecting voting rights and expanding ballot access. Many local League chapters participate in annual John Lewis Days of Action, as we are doing today. Several members of this congregation are also League members. Would you raise your hands if you are a League member? Okay, we have Red Gillenwater, Chuck Buchanan, Tamla Ward, Mike Bramer, Janice LePage, Joyce Pyle, Marge Bramer, Joan Gentry, Sherry Buchanan. And so we have an active role in this church kind of under the surface of our social justice actions. I'd like to introduce now Joan Gentry, who's our guest today. Joan is a board member of our local chapter, heads our voter and election services, is a state league board member, and also serves on the board for the Missouri Voter Protection Services. Joan's going to talk about the importance of active voter engagement and share some information about issues that are going to be on the August 4th ballot. Joan Gentry.
Thank you so much. While I'm kind of shaking my hands up here and talking to you, Marge and Chuck are going to be passing out some cards. Please hang on to those cards and be ready to wave them high. And then at the end of what we're doing, we'll pick the cards back up again so I can use them again. So my name is Joan Gentry. My pronouns are she, her. And I have been with the League of Women Voters for about 10 years. I'm a retired middle school teacher here in Springfield. I taught at Studi, K through 8, and then middle school for 22 years. So I've had a lot of experience with kids and people who aren't paying attention. So I'll be watching you. So I am so impressed with the words I've heard this morning. I'm going to have to get the Bag of Tricks, a Bag of Facts book, because I absolutely love having that kind of literature around to give to new parents to share with their kids. And Reverend Michelle's Power of the Vote, I mean, it strikes my heart, because that is such an important issue as to what we're doing now. So we're going to talk about the power of the vote, and then I'm going to say a few words about some ballot issues that are facing us that we're going to be seeing on August 4th. So, you know, think back to 2024, August primary, we had an election in the state of Missouri, and there were 2 ballot issues on it. I had to look them up because 2024, I've slept since then. And we have so many ballot issues that we get all mixed up with the numbers and so on. One of those ballot issues dealt with whether to allow daycare centers or daycare facilities be able to not pay property tax. That was one of the issues. The other issue had to do with a situation in Kansas City and where to find additional money to pay the police force. And since Kansas City police are under the auspices of the state government, there was an issue that was put on to change or to increase the salaries of police forces by making sure that Kansas City included that in the ballot, in their budget. So those were 2 issues that we had to vote on. So what we need to do is think about what our vote means and the power of that vote, and look at how decisions are going to be made. Because folks, this is a big election year, and equally as important, or maybe even more important to the person we put in office, are those amendments that affect us on a daily basis. And I think we get tied up with voting party politics and candidates, and we just kind of ignore what's going on that really will impact our lives as new parts of our Constitution or new statutes. So we're going to look at that kind of information. So if you have first of all, I need to set the scene. Every good teacher sets the scene, right? First of all, you are all, and I think this is true, you are all voting age. I know I certainly am and have been a while, but we're pretending that everyone in here is a voting age. So even if you are less than 18, today you are a voting age. So you are representing the voting population of Greene County, all right? Now, if you have a lilac card, would you hold it up high and wave it? And I would like for everyone to look around and see, just visually look at that, how that number looks. You don't have to look at the individuals, just look at how many hands are up there. Well, thank you. Would you put that card down? Now, what that represents is the 20% of folks who live in Greene County who are of voting age who are not registered. So 80% of voting age persons in Greene County are registered to vote, 20% are not. And if you think about the communities where it's very hard for people to get registered to vote, you begin to see some of the issues that we run into with voting, because it's hard to get some people registered, and it's hard for them to understand that their vote counts, because a lot of people don't think that their vote does count. And I'm here to say every vote counts. One person, one vote. Every vote counts, and my vote is as important as our governors, as our presidents, as any one of you, and that's the way we all are. Okay, so we now recognize that those of you who are left are all of the 80% of registered voters we have here. That is so cool, right? We do have a pretty good representation. It's not what it should be, but it's pretty good. Now, would those of you with the blue cards hold them up? Okay, everybody look around here. We are the blue card. And remember, these are registered voters. We've already know who the registered voters are not. All of these cards that are up represent the folks in 2024, you can put them down now, 2024, who did not vote in the primary election. You see that visual? Doesn't that visual help you to understand what that was? If you have a red card, hold it up and look around, folks, because these are the people who made the decisions, helped to make the decisions about those two amendments. This number of people, and the rest of us who are registered voters, were sitting around not doing anything. It's a powerful image for you to always think about, because when we have elections, turnout is extremely important. One of the problems that we face is a lack of education about the amendments that are on the ballot. What happens is what you see happening right now. There's a plethora of money being spent for 2 of the 4 amendments that are on the ballot, both for and against. And that's where we're beginning to base our opinions on what we're going to vote for. Well, let me tell you, what you see on those cards, first of all, it's not enough information. Secondly, a lot of it is misinformation, and this comes from, you have to look at everybody's information that they're putting out, whether you're for something or against something, and make sure it is factual. Not alternate facts, but facts, right? So that's one of the reasons that the League of Women Voters is here to talk to you about Amendments 4 and 5. First of all, we have 2 other amendments that are equally important. They're not, let's say they're very important. But one of them has to do with the conservation taxes that we have to renew every 10 years. That, you can look that on your ballot and you will see that information, and that makes sense to you. The other one is an issue that impacts Jackson County because it involves a part of the state constitution. We all vote on it, but it has to do with whether Jackson County will begin to elect their assessor, or whether they will continue to have that assessor appointed. So it's on the ballot for everyone because it's a part of our state constitution, but it really impacts the Jackson County folks. 4 and 5 are 2 different things. One of them deal with, except they're very related. One of them deals with our initiative petition, and the other one deals with changing our taxing structure. So we have literature. For those of you who don't know much about these, for those of you who are hearing things about, what you hear on television, the ads, some of them are good, some of them are hilarious, some of them are so bad, some of them are so full of misinformation, and the same thing with the flyers. So we do have literature over on the table. We have facts from the League of Women Voters of Missouri. That's one of our jobs as in our role as voter advocates and voter education persons. We have a facts list, and then we explain why we're voting no on both of those issues. I'll just say a couple little things, if that's all right with you, about them. In terms of Amendment 4, that's the one dealing with our initiative petition that we've been using since 1908. And it's based on statewide majority rule. If this amendment passes, our initiative petition would then require to have majority rule in every single congressional district we have, all 8 of them, a majority vote in all 8 of them in order to pass, meaning that one congressional district would be able to cause an initiative petition to fail. That's not one person, one vote, folks. That's one group of people having the power to say the other 7/8 of you have no power. That's pretty much what Amendment 4 is all about. Please pick up the information over there if you're interested. The other one has to do with changing our tax structure from a state income tax to sales tax over a period of 5 years. Well, the one thing I'm going to say to you is, first of all, I don't pay Missouri sales taxes, and you in here, a lot of you in here don't either, because once you get to be a certain magical age, you don't pay Missouri sales tax, Missouri income tax. You will, though, if this changes and we go to a sales tax situation, you will begin paying more taxes, because the 2/3 of our budget, which comes from our Missouri income tax, will have to come from sales tax. Now, the only way they're going to be able, those folks in Jeff City are going to be able to maintain their budget is to cut budgets and raise taxes, sales taxes, and the way the bill is written, everything is open to be saved, to have a tax put on it. The Hancock Amendment, which some of you remember back from the 80s, the Hancock Amendment will be deterred for 5 years. I mean, it will not be in effect, meaning we voters will have no say about sales taxes that reach a certain level. Everything has the potential for being covered with sales tax. There is some misinformation about property taxes. There's nothing in that bill that says your property taxes will go down. First of all, property taxes are a part of our districts locally. There is a part in it that does say local governments will have to offset any increase in sales tax above a certain level by decreasing possibly sales tax or property tax or some other tax issue. If you look at that, and I know it's terrible to have to read through that, but if you look at it, there are 7 different ways that our local governments could be involved in changing our tax structure locally, but nothing says your sales tax will, your property tax will go down. So there is a lot of alternate facts going on about there in an attempt to get people who don't have the time or the energy or the wherewithal. They want to vote on something, and all they can do is vote on what they see on the television ads. I think that's all I can preach about. Thank you for having me here, and if you have questions, I don't know, I don't know a whole lot about either of them. I just know the part I know I'm passionate about. Okay.
Yes, we'll be here after service.
Thank you.
She was being humble. She knows a lot about a lot of things. So we thank her, and thanks to other league members who will be available, answer questions after we finish here. I want to close the message with powerful words, again, from John Lewis. He said, "Dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. It's the most powerful, nonviolent tool we have to create a more perfect union. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." Amen.
What if I came up here and said, "Show me what democracy looks like"?
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
One more time. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Thank you. Our final song this morning is "Get Together" by Chester Powers. Paul will sing the verses, and we all will get to sing the chorus. The words for the chorus will be on the screens, and you're welcome to stand or remain seated, whatever you prefer.
forgot an announcement this morning. We're looking for a choir director. Love is but a song we sing, fears away we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we will surely pass. When the one who left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I said, come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I said, come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now. Right now.
Thank you for that powerful illustration with these cards. I want to invite everybody to grab your little card right now, please. Who knows who Joel Osteen is? Okay. So you know that thing that he does where he holds up a Bible and everybody says, "This is my Bible. I am who it says I am." Blah 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 blah. I want to invite you to hold up your little card, remembering what it means, and repeat after me. This is our democracy. This is our democracy. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to all of us. It depends on all of us. It depends on all of us. We are its stewards. We are its voice. We are its hope. Together we can become the nation we have not yet been, but still dare to imagine. This is our democracy. I want to invite Chuck to come and extinguish our chalice as we extinguish our communal and personal chalices and close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Friends, don't forget to talk to someone that you haven't talked to before, you haven't talked to for a long time. Coffee and tea and snacks in the kitchen. What is Unitarian Universalism downstairs? Social Action Committee downstairs. Lots of things to do. Have a great day. Go in peace.